Going. Okay, recording is started. Hey guys, if you don't know who I am, I'm Sharon Tolliver. I'm from Ohio and I'm a diamond leader with It Works. I'm not going to talk about me though. We are going to talk about this amazing, amazing girl who I've been following for such a long time. I myself have been in the business for 4 years, so I've been watching her ever since I started to hear little whispers about Sheyenne Knox, the youngest girl ever, doing all this stuff. And I was just like, what? Because I'm 34. So I was like, what? So I've been following her for a long time and I'm just so impressed by her. And I am so proud of her, even though we don't really know each other that well. I've been cheering her on for the longest time. And Katie asked me, she's like, you need to ask an ambassador to interview them this month. And I'm like, okay. And then I was like, she hit ambassador. I was like, well, I know who I'm asking. I'm going there, going home, right? So the youngest ambassador to ever do it in It Works history. You guys, that is huge. It's huge. So she's the sweetest thing ever. She answered me right away. I was like, oh, okay. So we are so excited to have you with us tonight. And we are so, so grateful. I know I kept telling you that, but we're so grateful. So I'm going to go ahead and spotlight her and unmute her. Let me make sure I do it right. Okay.
Hi.
Okay, Sheyenne, whenever you want to start chatting. Hey, girl. So we do have a couple questions tonight. Some of the team, we don't want to take too much of your time because, girl, I know you're busy. And we are so grateful, like I said, for you taking the time to get on here because I know you're like back-to-back Zooms and everything. So as quick as you want, can you just tell us your story? Because I know there are some girls on here and guys who are new and they don't know much about you yet. So if you could tell us your story really quick,
Of course.
however
Sorry
long
that
it takes.
I was so late. My Zoom, I don't know what it is. Ever since like Corona happened, my Zoom just says connecting for like 10 minutes every time I get on a training, every time. So sorry about that. But hi,
No, it's
I'm
okay.
Sheyenne Knox. I'm 21 years old and I am officially Ambassador Diamond. I joined the business 3.5 years ago as a broke high school student. I was just 18 years old looking to make some gas money, and I didn't have a vision for what this business could do for me. And so within 5 months, I promoted to Diamond and earned a $5,000 bonus 3 days after I graduated high school. And, I remember walking across the stage and saying, oh my gosh, like I need to be enrolling customers right now. Like this is not important. I do not need to walk across the stage. I'm trying to go to Diamond. And we promoted Diamond. And I actually went to school and I went off to college and I paid all my college tuition in cash. I paid all my room and board. And the biggest thing was that I became financially independent from my parents. I was able to finally take control of that and be able to take that burden off of them because, a big part of my story is I grew up in government housing. We knew every bit of what struggling was like and we were on food stamps and all kinds of things. And so being able to depend on myself was huge because I didn't have to ask anyone for permission. I could do those things, take over my car payment, pay my car insurance, and do all those things without having to put that burden on my family. And so I went to college, I was going to do it the right way. I was going to become a nurse. I was going to do all these great big things and play it safe because I knew that if I could become a nurse and I could get a college degree, that it was going to be the one thing that was going to set me apart from my family to where I wasn't going to have to struggle my whole entire life and make my future family struggle the way that I did. And I went to, school and I was in school and I was failing my nursing classes because it's hard as heck. And I was like, I think I'm going to pursue this business and give it my all and not put it on the back burner anymore. So I went from going Diamond to maintaining executive for 11 months to going to conference, my first conference, completely changing my life. Drop a 1 if you've been to conference and you know what it does to your business. And I went double Diamond 30 days later. 3 months after that, we went triple, and 3 months after that, we went presidential. So I went from maintaining executive to 8 months later being a presidential Diamond and seeing more in a paycheck that was more than my household income was in a year growing up. And so I made that at 20 years old. And, I quit school 2 days after I started my freshman year of college. I was like, absolutely not. And then a couple months later, we'd gone presidential. And because of It Works, I purchased my home that I'm sitting in. I got to decorate it in cash. I paid cash for my car. I've hit all these financial goals, but the most important thing is how much I've been able to grow as a person, what I've been able to do, and how I've been able to impact others, because that's what it's truly about. And, you know, overall, just like my relationship with Christ has grown so much, and that's so special to me, and I'm so thankful for that. And I just, if you're a new one here, you are a part of one of the most incredible companies ever, because this culture is unmatchable, and the people are the most incredible people you'll ever meet. But now I'm excited to go Ambassador 2.0 and start right back over.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love that so much. And I just admire you so much. Your drive at such a young age. Like, y'all don't even want to know what I was doing at 18. I just admire that so much. And I can't even put it into words. Like, it's incredible. So I know you're proud of yourself, but it's just, we're all like so in awe of you. So I'm just going to jump right into some questions, because girl, so TikTok, 57 distributors, right? 1,800 or something applications. I know that because I hopped on Sarah's at lunch. I didn't realize we were both interviewing you today, but it's totally cool. So I'm going to try not to ask all the same questions, but most of these people are not on that Zoom today. So I heard those numbers, and I was like, holy crap. So I guess what we want to know is not how, you know, you necessarily got all those people, because we know TikTok can take off and you kind of just talk about whatever. But I guess our question is, you know, 57 enrollments is huge. So sealing the deal, these people that are coming in, they're filling out your application, the, you know, 1,800, that is so many to even go through. Like, oh my gosh. But how do you kind of get them from filling out an application to joining the business? Like, what's your kind of like system, or like, how do you do it?
So yes, TikTok is amazing. Step out of your comfort zone, guys. 3 months ago, I mean, maybe even 2 months ago, was when I made my first TikTok, and I copied what everyone else was doing. I'm the least creative person you'll ever meet. I'm like very red. So I'm like, if someone else come up with the ideas, and I'll do it as long as it makes me money. And that's why I started TikTok. So I started copying what everyone else was doing. I was like, I can't dance. I'm not creative. I'm not 12. Like, I can't do what these people are doing. And I'm not savage. Like, I can't, this is not me. But I did it anyways. And I started sharing what everyone else was doing, and I started doing what everyone else was doing. And I made a Google form application. There's a lot of YouTube videos on how to do it. It's very simple, because I know that, because I figured it out. Like, if you're somebody that's like, I don't know how to do that, you know, I figured out how to use TikTok, and that's saying a lot. So made the Google form, put it in my Instagram bio, and then when I made TikTok videos, I would just say, go to my Instagram, click the form in my bio, and fill out the application. And y'all, I only had like 3 videos that even went somewhat viral. I think the highest one I had was 100,000 views, and that's views. Like, that's just people swiping through and just seeing it. And most of the ones that I got tons of responses from were people that only had like 1,000, like my videos that only had 1,000 views. You do not have to go viral in order for you to get a bunch of responses. I think a lot of people think that, and you don't. It's just about consistency. Every single video I was posting was about the business in some way or another. So even if 20 people saw this one, or 300 people saw this one, it's 300 more people. So it was just applications coming out of like nowhere. So yes, I got 57 distributors in April from TikTok. And at that time, I only had about 400 applications on my Google form. And now I have 1,800 that I'm waiting to go through until I open my 2.0, so that I can enroll them on there. But it took me like 8 hours to even go through those 400. So but what my training looks like is this poster board that's right here that you can see in this video is all my distributors that I enrolled. They didn't fit on a piece of paper, so I had to get a poster board. So I wrote them all out on the poster board. And my system, everybody asks me this, like every single person, every time I've ever been on a training, they're like, how do you train your new distributors? Because I feel like everyone's always trying to look for like the secret magic new distributor training. There's not one, guys, there's not, so stop looking. It's all about how you treat your new distributors. You could give them 74 things to do, or you could give them 5, but if they do not make a connection with you, they will not stay. And so when it comes to my new distributors, I, partnered with Morgan Martin, and we kind of collaborated and came up with this training that we're loving. And the only thing we changed is that we're FaceTiming them. I am getting face-to-face with my new girls within 24 to 48 hours of them enrolling. because connection. It's not their $17 paycheck they make in their first month that's going to keep them around. It's not the Zoom trainings that you do giving them inspiration. It is the connection that they make with you. And so, you know, I get them started, I get them into eSuite, I have them send me a selfie, you know, I add them to my team page, like I do all the basic things, but I'm like, hey girl, like, do you have 10 minutes that we could hop on a quick FaceTime really fast? And they're like, yeah, sure, because they just got started. They're on their phone. So I FaceTime them and I'm just like, hey, you know, why'd you get started? And they let me know why they joined. I tell them a little bit about me. You know, I tell them what, you know, basically we're going to be doing over the next couple of days. I'm going to be training you. We're going to be going through the steps, you know, nothing crazy, but it's that FaceTime where they're like, okay, this girl is not a scammer. This girl isn't somebody that just took my card information and ran with it. Like, she's a real person. And so they need to see that transparency with you. And so from that phone call, I'm like, okay, we're going to go through and we're going to do your dirt list and we're going to send out your message to your friends and family. And we're going to do all those basic things that we all already know how to do. And they're going to catch on. And I'm like, okay, if you need anything, I want you to call me back. Like, I want you to FaceTime me if you have any questions. So from the beginning, my new distributors know that I am there for any question that they have, whether it's, you know, and I tell them, annoy me. Please feel like, if you don't feel like you're annoying me, you're doing it wrong. And that's really it. I mean, everything you're doing is good, but you're probably not having that connection with them. I went to a Try It with Sheyenne and John Alcala in Dallas, and Cammie came. And she was like, you know, you want to know how I went Black Diamond? Was because I launched all my new distributors. And I was like, well, I can't launch them face-to-face because I have people that join in Maine and I had somebody join in, you know, Dominican Republic. I mean, I had all these people joining from everywhere. And I was like, okay, how can I do this? How can I make a launch and have that personal connection? And I was like, FaceTime. So I just started FaceTiming them for 10 or 15 minutes at a time. And so all 57 of those distributors got a FaceTime from me unless they joined and canceled in 5 minutes. And, you know, basically over 75% of them got 6 customers on their own because of that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I think so. That was kind of a popular question. Like, how is she signing all these distributors? Or like, how does she launch her distributors was a big question. And I had heard you touch on it a little bit before. So thank you for filling us in, because literally I feel the same way. I think connection is so important. So it's really refreshing to hear you say that. So a lot of the girls ask, like, they have struggle, and I do too sometimes, struggle getting people to sign the dotted line. Like, okay, I want to do this. So I guess a majority of the questions, if I mush them all together, is kind of like, how is she getting all these people to sign up? Because I have people filling out my form, but they're not signing up. So I guess there's a lot of curiosity around, like, do you think it's just something you're saying to them, or is it the form sealing the deal basically with them signing the dotted line? If I'm saying that right.
Yeah.
Or making sense.
So number one thing is, I mean, okay, there's a couple of things. Number one, being confident. Okay, if you are not confident and you are already expecting them to tell you that they can't afford the $99, or that they're afraid, or that they're going to ghost you, then they are. Okay, it is all about your mindset and your confidence in the conversation from the beginning. I expect everyone to enroll with me. I go into it as if they, like, I know that they need this already, or they wouldn't have filled out the application. So they are at the mercy of me. Okay, I am not at the mercy of them. And that is how I have that mindset when I first started, is like, they need me. And they're not going to leave, and I'm going to coach them through this and help them overcome the fears that they have. So when they first message me or they fill out the application on the form, you know, I ask them if they're 18, and I ask them what country they're from, because I've got some crazy countries that have been asking to join.
Yeah.
And so that's what I ask. And then, you know, most of the time I'm like, are you familiar with network marketing at all? And majority of them say no. And so I explain what we do. Short message, you probably have one that just kind of explains what It Works is. And I'm like, okay, what kind of income would help you out? Always end each message with a question. So I say, what kind of income monthly would help you out right now? They all say 500, 1,000. Some of them say like 30 grand. And I'm like, okay, well then. But you know, ask them how much money. And so then I explain the 5 ways that we make money. I tell them, I break it down super simple. And they're like, okay, yeah, that sounds great. How much is it to join? I tell them how much it is to join. And this is where they, you know, they're either going to join you or they're not. And so I am very blunt always. I'm very blunt with people. I'm like to the point. And so when people say like, okay, well, I don't have the money right now. Okay, good. Nobody joins this business because they have money. They join it because they need it. Who can you borrow it from? because I borrowed the money.
Mm-hmm.
I had 20 cents in my account when I joined this business. So it's not that I don't relate. So I tell them, I actually didn't have the money to join either. My dad paid for me to get started. And so I always say that, like, okay, that's awesome. I didn't expect you to have money. I know that's why you came to me. I'm just blunt with them because I'm not going to say, okay, like, let me know when you have money. Then I'm not fighting for them. I'm not giving them the reason for why they need to join. And then, you know, sometimes they're like, well, I don't have the time, or, you know, or if they just don't respond to me, let's call out the elephant in the room. They're afraid. They didn't respond to me. They just said they were going to join. I told them how much, and they're like, ooh, nope, I'm not going to. So I send them a voice message. I send all of this in voice messages, by the way, especially if they're from TikTok, because they already think you're a scammer. So if they hear my voice, it gets a little bit better. But I'll send them that voice message, and I'll just say, you know, hey, I noticed you didn't respond to me. I know that you're probably afraid of failing. And if I'm right, I want you to let me know. And I know that you're afraid of failing because I was too. I was terrified of joining this business because I list all the objectives. I didn't have the time. I didn't have the money. I didn't think that I would be successful. I had no experience in this business. And who was I to think that I could be successful at something like this when I've seen other people fail? Y'all can tell that I've said that a million times because I can just rehearse it and put it out just like that.
I love that.
But I tell them all the objectives in that voice message. And then they're like, okay, yeah, you're right. I was scared, but like, let me figure this out. Be a human. Take your distributor hat off and put on your human hat and tell them how you know they already feel. Same with new distributors. If you have somebody ghost you, they're not ghosting you because they don't want to do this business. They're ghosting you because they're freaking out and they're already overwhelmed and they don't feel like they can do this. And so I'll send them a voice message and say, hey, are you having a crap moment? I remember having one of those. I was totally terrified after I got started. I didn't think I was going to be good at this. Like, I just call it out because you know that if you're being ignored, whether it's a prospect or somebody that's already on your team, they're freaking out. So just be vulnerable with them. And if it comes down to them ignoring you, call out the elephant in the room. Like, you are in control of the conversation, not them. And I think so many times we're like, oh my God, what if I say the wrong thing? What if I do this? What if I do that? You will not say the wrong thing to the right person. If somebody wants this business bad enough, they will sell a pair of jeans, they will sell their house, they will figure it out. But it's not that you need to fear that they're not going to join you, because if you add the value enough onto how much our business can change their life, they will figure out a way to join. Let me tell you this, if somebody is broke in college, they figure out a way to drink alcohol every single weekend. Do they not? Yes, they do. If you want something bad enough, you will figure it out.
Oh my God, I love that, girl. Yes, that is so true. And I think we all need that reminder. I know there's a girl on here who sold her treadmill to join this business because she had nothing. I know I was broke when I joined, but it's such a good like, it's so good to hear you say that. Like, I know they need this because they filled out the form. Like, we all need to remember that. It's true. So we need to quit getting in our head and just be like, look, like, we need to be confident. So I hope that, I know that answered y'all's question, because that was really, really good. And I'm going to go back and watch that over again to make sure I am doing all of those things, because I love that. I love how you're just bold and you just talk to them because they're human just like we are. So just a couple more questions from the team. I know you love Host to Post. What's your favorite thing about it? How do you utilize it for you? Do you just have people post product? Do you have them post about the business? Like, what's your favorite thing about it?
So I love Host to Post because I started doing them 2 years ago. I was maintaining executive. This was back in my glory days. And I knew I needed a change. I knew that I had to figure out something in order to get from where I was at to where I wanted to go, because what I was doing and what got me to Diamond was not what was going to get me to Double and Beyond. So I watched a training from Rachel Jones for Host to Post, and I started implementing them. And I got my own personal results. I started doing Host to Post, and I went from enrolling the highest of customers I'd ever enrolled was 10 to enrolling 88 customers for 2 bags of coffee, chocolate greens, and cleanse, every single one of them. I went from executive to Double Diamond, 3 months later, Triple Diamond, 3 months later, Presidential Diamond, all from Host to Post. So I love them because if you are doing them, it is impossible to not enroll. Impossible. So if you're someone on here and you're not enrolling and you're like, I'm doing all the things, you're not doing all the things. And I know that because I can point my team out every single time that I notice they're not enrolling. I know they're not working because they're not doing Host to Post. If you do 10 Host to Post every single day, you will enroll. You will. There's no way that you don't. And if you don't, it's because you're not doing enough and you're not having the right wording. So you can figure out the difference between that. But if you're not enrolling, you're not doing them. So, I mean, last month, okay, I was going ambassador. I decided on the 17th that I was promoting to ambassador. I needed like 67,990 something BB in 6 days. And that all came from host to post for our team. And I had enrolled 4 customers up to the 25th of the month. 4. And I ended with 60 from host to post. Not a single customer that I enrolled last month was somebody that I knew. It was all from host to post, and it was upselling. I would talk to them about TFX, upsell the cleanse, fat fighters, and cleanse, fat fighters, TFX. Yeah, the whole triple threat. And so I'm getting, you know, all this volume for every single customer. And that's how I promoted to ambassador, was me doing it and teaching my team to do it. So I love product host to post on Facebook, and I do distributor host to post on Instagram.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That's what I thought. Because, you know, sometimes we're like, well, which one should we have on post? And, you know, I think people go back and forth about that. And I've tried a few where they do the business and it kind of like, meh, you know, not so sure, but I absolutely love host to post, product host to post. That's how I went diamond too. I mean, I firmly believe in host to post, and I know you love it too. So
yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. I'm just trying to roll through so we don't keep you for too long. So we had a question from Chelsea. We know you're like awesome on Instagram. Just like, how do you work it? I mean, you know, obviously we know like you're on there, you're interacting with people and things like that, but do you message a lot of people in there? Or are you kind of having people, are you utilizing any of the tools? Cause they've been kind of funky with the bots and stuff lately. I guess just one thing that stands out to you that you like to use.
I don't message as much on Instagram since I really found like host to post that works. Since I do Instagram host to post, I don't just message and like ask people to purchase the products as much as I used to. On Instagram, I'll just say like, hey girl, like, you know, I'm not trying to sell you anything. Can I ask you a question? And that's how I do my Instagram host to post. And I just get them to throw up a story. And then, you know, I just do all the basic things. I just post every single day. My story is just a constant timeline of my day, making my coffee in the morning, sharing what I'm eating throughout the day, my home decor, like my brand. That's my place for me to talk about the things that I love. And I just share that every single day. I talk about the products, I put my face out there, and then I just message for host to post on Instagram. That's really all I do.
Yeah, I love that. No, I love your stories. They pull, I know I am always pulled in by them, and you do show your face. I every day, you're on there talking, and you're, you know, going to see your dad and just whatever. And that's so important, you guys. Like, even on days like this morning, I rolled out of bed and I turned it on because I was like, you know what? I'm going to show them how I make my coffee. I look like crap, but I mean, Sheyenne does the same thing. And I think that's so important because it makes people feel like they can like get to know you and more comfortable with you. And just it's like a reality show for the people that are following you. So, yeah, I love your stories, and she's always got all the little dots at the top because she's keeping them full and everything. And we definitely, people need to be utilizing the stories if you're not. So the last couple questions are just about like, you know, how do you inspire your team, the new people, the old, like the new DTs, the old DTs, like how do you keep them inspired? I know you do journaling Zoom, so, you know, that's one way I'm sure. And like, how do you cast vision for your team? What's your favorite way of doing that?
Constantly sharing where I'm going. Okay, like your team is on the train with you. And if you are driving your train and you're not sharing where your team is going and what you're doing, they're going to hop off the train because they want to be a part of something. Like when I was going ambassador, y'all, our volume ended at 131,000 in March and ended at 262,000 in April.
Wow.
We raised our volume almost 120 in volume, and that is simply because I casted the vision about going ambassador. I did not do ambassador by myself. We were not ready for ambassador. I mean, obviously, I guess we were if we did it, but we were so far from ambassador that I kept shouting it out and I kept saying it and I kept going live and I kept telling our team we were ambassador team, and I kept, you know, telling each of the girls what promotion they were pushing for, and we kept talking about it. And, you know, I didn't just wake up in April of 2020 2020 and say we're going ambassador. I've been doing it for a year and a half. Like I promoted to presidential in October of 2018. So it took over a year for me to go ambassador, but it was because I just kept the vision going. And so if you say that you're going diamond, not only do you say that you're going diamond, but you do the things. You show up in every single way and they're going to follow what you do, but you have to be casting the vision of where your team is going. Why do you think people join you? Because you're showing them where you're going. You're showing them what you're doing. You're giving them that beacon of hope. And that's exactly what you do with your team. Vision casting is not something you can just wake up and say, we're going diamond, and then it doesn't happen and you stop. You're going diamond and you're going diamond and you're going diamond. And then tomorrow you're going diamond. And then this month you're going diamond. And then next month you're going double. And then you're going to be the youngest ambassador. And then you're going to be a millionaire. And then you're going to make $50,000 a month. Like it doesn't stop. You don't just wake up and say, I'm going diamond. Oh crap, we didn't promote. And then you slow down. And then 2 days later, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm going to go diamond. And then you stop for a week. That's not vision casting. That's being lazy. Like you have to say exactly what you're doing and where you're going in this business and not stop shouting it out. And that's how the vision is casted, because you know exactly what your team is doing. You know exactly what you're doing, and your team is all on the same page as you.
I love that. Oh my gosh. That gave me little feelings in my belly when you were like, you gotta say this, say that, say that. I was like, whoa, girl. Yes. She's so right. No, I love that so much. And I think this was from Maddie, the hardest lesson on your way to the top, if any. Like, I'm sure you've had them.
Just one? Can I say just one, or
whatever you feel like getting off your chest?
Well, where do I start? I could probably like pull out a scroll and just list them all.
Yeah.
Guys, I think a lot of times when we join businesses like this and we look at people and we see people at the top and we see people where we want to go, and you see all these things, like you just see, it's just like when you go on Instagram and you see this like beautiful, skinny, like hot babe on Instagram and you're like, wow, like I wish I could look like that, you know, and you're just like, man, she's probably naturally like that. But yet she works out 7 days a week and she never eats Taco Bell and she drinks water. And she like does the right things and does like sit-ups and stuff before bed. Yeah. You don't see that. You don't see all the things that she does. And it's the same thing when you see people that are ambassadors, or Stephanie and Joel Dunn, or you see people that are in top 150, like they fought to get there. And, you know, I look at my journey of going ambassador and how many times that I fell flat on my face, how many times I lost rank, how many times my check dropped, $20,000. I mean, incredible things that have happened along the way, but also things that hurt and things that sucked, and people leaving my team, and people that quit when I never thought they would, and people that didn't support me, and losing best friends from school. Like I've, you know, so much of life has changed, but this is the one thing that's been constant, you know, through every single thing that's happened in my life. And so, I mean, one of the biggest lessons I can say is that I'm thankful that I went through all of those things where I did lose rank and I did see paycheck drops and I did lose people. Like all those things are the reason that I'm ambassador, is because I had to fight from the trenches, but also get to the top of the mountain to show my team that it can be done, but also show them what they can come from. You know, when I lost diamond, I promoted so fast and I was on this high and everyone was like, oh my God, Cheyenne was like in high school and went diamond. Like it was just this big crazy hype. And I was on this cloud 9 that I did all of this stuff, and then I let it get to my head and I was like, oh, well, my team will just keep working and they'll just keep doing the things, and they all quit. Because it was like God was like, haha, here you go, like this, here's this business, and then LOL, I'm gonna humble you real quick because that ain't how this works. I think that's what happened. But you know, everybody decided to quit my team, and I had to learn from that. For 10 months, I was like, I'm going double, I'm going double, I'm going double, but I was never doing the work to go double diamond. And then I started doing the work, and I started understanding the purpose of hard work, and I started understanding that things are going to happen to me and to make me grow and to humble me and to do all these things. And then we went double, and then we went triple, and then we went prez, and then it was like, oh, halt again, slowed down, lost people on my team, had to rebuild an entire leg, had to, you know, make shifts within my team. I had to go through a lot of life. I moved, I had all these things that were happening. And for a year and a half, I had to grow. Like some of you aren't promoting because you're not ready. You're not the leader that you need to be in order to run that organization of people. You know, Claire said this on a Zoom last night that we were doing, and she was like, if you are overwhelmed with what you have, and if you are not taking care of the people that you have, God is not going to give you more.
Mhm.
And it smacked me in the face because sometimes I have 200 text messages and I'm like, I can't do this. I want to put my phone down. And it's like, why would God bless me with more people if I can't handle the ones I have? And so you have to look at yourself and look at your chart and say, am I using this to the best of my ability? Am I going through all these things? Am I making sure my people have everything that they need? Am I doing the trainings? Am I showing up and pouring into myself? Some of you haven't opened a book in a year. Some of you haven't opened a book in 3 years, but you're expecting to make a $10,000 paycheck and you're expecting to go diamond and make $2,000 a month, but you're at an executive mindset expecting a $2,000 paycheck. And it's hard to hear. It is. It's like, oh crap, well, that was kind of at me. Well, I needed to hear that 3 years ago and I wish somebody would have told me. I was expecting to be a double diamond, but was like not even sending 10 messages a day. But I was like, where's my $5,000 paycheck at, you know? And so guys, you've got to be real with yourself and know that there's going to be so many things that you're going to go through. But I would not be an ambassador and I would not be the leader that I am. And I still have so much growth to do. And I wouldn't be this person if it wouldn't have been for me losing rank and struggling and not doing personal development and having people quit and going through mindset struggles and going through life. Like, it's not a matter of if life is going to happen. It's a matter of when. Okay. It's not going to be rainbows and butterflies all the time. It's not always going to be beautiful, but it's going to be worth it. So that's a really open-ended question, and I hope that I answered it. But there's a lot of things that go into it, but it's just everything you're going through, there's a reason for it. So instead of saying, like, why is my life a dumpster fire? Say, what can I grow from? Like, how can I figure, like, what in this moment am I learning from? Why did this happen? Because there's not a single thing that happens in your life that was for nothing. Promise you. Like, I mean, I had a girl on my team in November who was supposed to give birth to her full-time, or her, she was 9 months pregnant and she was about to give birth to her daughter. The things were so amazing and she went in to deliver her and she was stillborn. And she, sent in our chat and it was the most devastating thing in the world. And she had, not promoted. She'd been in the business for a year, was still a distributor. And I thought she was going to quit. I was like, this girl's going to quit. She has so much going on in her life. She's nothing to fight for. And she messaged me like 2 weeks later and was like, what do I need to do? And that December, she went ruby. February, she went emerald and diamond. March, she went double diamond. So she straight up took that whole situation of her life and said, you know what, I can either let this knock me down or I can get back up and fight for everything I came for. That's exactly what she did. And that's just one scenario of people on my team. I had a girl go triple last month. She lost her mom in October. And she could have stopped and she could have, let everything in her business go to crap, but she had a team to fight for and she had a family that still needed her. And so she got her double diamond back and fought for it to come back, and she went triple last month. So you've just got to figure out, like, there's so much stuff that's going to happen in your life. There's so much stuff that's going to happen in your business, but there's something to learn from it. And it's preparing you for what you are doing and who you're becoming. Like, nothing that you're doing is a setback. It's a setup for the person that you're going to be and for the leader that you're going to be. Because if you never went through anything, how would you help your team through things? If you never lost rank, how would you show your team that you can overcome losing rank and you can get to where you want to go? If you never had people quit your team, how would you help your team know when people quit, how to overcome that? Like, it's hard. There's a lot of stuff. I mean, this business is 100% mindset. If your mindset is not 100%, you're going to crumble. So you've got to make sure that you're fighting for you and that you know why you're here and you know exactly what your outcome is, because you've got to keep fighting and you've got to keep showing up even when it sucks. Even when you don't feel like it. Like, do you think I feel like working in this business every day? Absolutely not. Do you think that I'm in a perfect headspace every day? No. Some days I wake up and I'm so hyped and I'm so excited to enroll, and some days I'd rather just stay in bed all day, but I don't have that option because this is my job. And instead of me having to go to an 8 to 5 job where even if I feel bad, I still have to get dressed, drive my happy butt to work and put on a fake smile, I don't have to do that. I can be at home and I can lead my team and I can live this life because I said yes to the good and the bad.
Whoo, girl, you just gave it to us good. No, that was perfect. I'm feeling so many different emotions right now, like roller coaster of emotions. I know some of us probably teared up a little bit. Like that's real, guys. I mean, she's right. That so much respect for those women you just spoke of. Like, holy, like, it makes me feel like, wow, my problems are so petty. Like, I don't get out of bed one day because I just don't want to work my business and I'm being lazy. But they literally lost a child and then they go and promote and promote and promote. And it's eye-opening and it's very inspiring. So thank you for sharing that with us. Like, that's Yeah, that's deep. And, you know, my last question, I think you kind of just answered it. I'm going to tell you what it was, but I honestly think she answered it. You guys, the chat's blowing up, by the way. Everyone's like, oh my gosh. Some people, I think Katie asked what your favorite book is right now. So if you, want to tell us later or now or whatever, you can. But go ahead.
So Success Commandments is what I'm reading right now. Very good. Like I've done a Zoom for every chapter that I've read, every page to be exact. Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. So if you have any form of money issues, maybe you're afraid to make money, maybe you grew up without money, maybe you spend money too much, like anything that revolves around making more money, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind will completely change your life, promise. You're a Badass. I think it's a basic, everybody needs to read You're a Badass. That's a really good book.
That book changed my life.
Yeah, if you're new to self-development, maybe if you're newer in the business and you want just a basic personal development book, Girl Wash Your Face is a really good book. But I think, I could recommend books to you all day, but what I need is not what you need. So make sure that every single day you're doing 2 forms of personal development. You're doing personal development and you're doing leadership development. They're different. You have to make sure that you're pouring into yourself based on what you need for business and what you need for your personal self. So maybe you struggle with anxiety. Maybe you struggle with confidence. Maybe you struggle with, I don't know, like anything personal that you feel like you struggle with, that has to be grown on you. Like you have to personally grow in those things because we don't have the same issues. When it comes to business, you need to pour into yourself leadership wise. How can you grow in that way? Anything by John Maxwell is something you need to read. Leadership, incredible. The Magic of Thinking Big, incredible. Like anything that's going to do business and personal, you have to make sure you're doing both.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. I've had multiple pop up asking to answer Maddie's question. People were like, yes, I want to know what Maddie knows. I think it's the one, so Maddie's in college and she's wanting to know how you made the decision to pick this over college. And I know you touched on that, but that's what they're asking in the chat right now.
Okay.
So we got some college girls on right now.
This is a hard question because I don't ever really talk about it because I would never tell anyone like quit college, but quit college. No, this is the thing. Okay. I was going to school to fulfill a God-given tug on my heart, and that was to help people. And the only way that I knew how to do that was to become a nurse because I'm red, yellow, like dead center, 50% both. So I have a drive to help people. And that's always been my thing. Like if I'm like anywhere, that's just my heart. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to be a nurse. And I was excited. I was so excited about that, but I wasn't excited to be a nurse. And that's something I didn't realize. I had to pray about it every single day because you have no idea how confused I was. Like when I went to school, I was like, I hate this. Like I've never been a partier. I don't enjoy being around people. Not like that. I'm just not a people oriented person. College was not my thing. I felt completely out of place the entire time I was there. I didn't know how to study. I don't know. Some people are not meant for it. So when I got there, I was going to school because I was the only person in my family that had ever gone. So, this personal story, it's, everyone's different, but I was going to school for the wrong reasons. I was going to school because I didn't want to be broke. I was going to school because I didn't want to be the only person in my family that, I wanted to be the only person in my family that graduated. I wasn't doing it for me. And I knew that I was never going to be happy. And so when I realized that I could go full-time in this business and I could actually make an income with this based on my own hard work ethic, I changed my major from nursing to marketing because I was still trying to please other people. I was still trying to get the degree so that my family was like, oh my gosh, you're getting a college degree. And then I was like, why in the heck am I going to school for marketing? What am I going to do with that? I don't know, nothing. And so that's when on the second day of school, I walked into calculus and was like, absolutely not. And I quit school. But that is not to say that I quit school and was like, okay, I'm just going to see if this business works for me. I went all in with my business. I wasn't giving myself the opportunity to be that person that was like, I'm discouraged. Everyone on my team quit. It was life or death. I had to make that work because I just told everybody I quit college because my business was going to work. And if my business failed, what did that say about me? So it's a complete personal situation. This business is a career. if that helps you. Like, I think a lot of people are like, well, I don't want to like do, this is my side hustle. No, this is a career if you make it a career. I make more money in this business than any corporate America job would ever be able to pay me. No corporate America job would pay somebody $30,000 a month at 21 years old. Absolutely not. Find one and let me know. You're not going to find it. And so I pursued this business with all my heart and soul every single day for the past 3.5 years. There's not a single day, not one, that I have not worked my business. Sure, there could have been days where I didn't, but this is my job. This is my career. This is what I do. And so you have to make the decision of, am I going to school for something I want to do and that I love? Or am I doing this because society told me to? That's what you have to ask yourself.
Yeah, girl, that's good. I was a college dropout too. Because I wanted to help people and I was going to school and I wasn't helping anybody. That was my thing too. I'm all yellow girl, so. But that was me, and I was just like, I don't know how the heck to help people going to school for nothing, and I'm not happy at all. So totally get that, and I agree. You just have to make the decision and do it. I'm glad I did every day. So
and guys, you can always go back to school. Yes. You can't always recreate momentum in your business.
True. Okay, girl. So to finish this out, we started talking about it, but basically just like, I know I said you kind of already answered it, but my last question was just, how do you keep the belief that this is going to just keep going? And like your 2.0 is getting ready to happen. Like what is you keeping the belief for Sheyenne?
So when I worked a job, I only worked one time before this business, and it was a hostess at a restaurant while I was in high school. And that job told me I was worth $8 an hour, whether I showed up and worked my ass off or I showed up and barely was there and didn't care about my job and was just showing up to get a paycheck. It was $8 an hour. And when I joined this business and I saw that my own work ethic and what I decided to pour into my business every single day was how I got paid, that was when it was over. I didn't ever need permission from any single person to tell me what I could do with this business because it was something that I controlled. And so when I started working really hard, and March of 2018, when I went double diamond, was the moment that I flipped a switch in my head, and I never flipped it back off. Was because I could put in work, I could show up every single day, I could fight for what I wanted, I could make a dream board, and if I wanted to, I could accomplish every single thing on that dream board because I was in control. And I decided from that day that no one else would ever tell me what I was worth, and no one else would ever tell me that I could only make $8 an hour, whether I showed up and worked my ass off or I showed up and I was barely there. And so I made a decision that every single day I was going to work for me, and I was going to do what I wanted to do. And that's why I have the belief, is because number one, we have a company that has your back no matter what. So being able to say that I have a business that is always going to provide, and they're always going to make sure that they're doing things the right way, and they're always going to come out with new products and innovative techniques and constantly, reinventing themselves. I don't have to worry about that. So all I have to worry about is myself and making sure that I show up every single day. So my belief comes from everything on this dream board and showing myself that I can accomplish things and having people on my team that fight for this every single day. That's what it's about. And I will never, ever, I'm unemployable. I will never be able to go back to another job and have somebody say, okay, here's your $11 paycheck every single hour. Like, this is all you're absolutely not. And you're in a position where you can completely transform your entire life based on one decision that you make. Not the decision where you're going to go half in and do nothing, and then next week show up, and then the next week enroll a customer, and then next month decide you're going to go diamond, and then slow back down, and then have this person join your business, and then you give up on them and they quit. Not that. Going all in and making a decision today that you are worth more than $8 an hour. You are worth more than living paycheck to paycheck. You are worth more than dropping your kids off and having someone else raise your kids. I don't know how people do that. I'm not a mom. I don't have a family. It's just me, myself, and I in my little house here. But I know that if I had kids, I would do anything and everything to make sure that I was the one that was raising them. And being able to see people on my team that are able to stay home with their babies because I didn't stop, that's what your future is. That's what it all holds in this business, is that there are people and women out there waiting for you to make that same decision. So that's how I keep the belief. That's how I know I'm going Diamond 2.0. And what that means is, since charts changed, I don't know how many people are in a diamond chart, but let's say 16, I don't know. That's 16 women that are out there praying for this opportunity right now. And it's from a decision I make to keep believing in myself. They're going to believe in themselves too. 15.
Wow. Yeah.
15.
Something like that.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, girl, that's so good. So you have got me wanting to go get a cup of coffee and work all night because I'm feeling so inspired right now. And I know somebody else said that and I thought the same thing. I was like, oh my gosh, I feel the same way. So you guys drop some fire in the chat because I know y'all are feeling it. And to thank Sheyenne for being amazing and so gracious to get on with us because like I said, I know how busy she is and I know it's not, she's a hot commodity right now. Everybody wants to talk to her and she is the youngest person ever with It Works to do this. So it's amazing. So many Zooms. Yes, Katie, so many Zooms. So Sheyenne, thank you so much. Yeah, that was amazing. And we are just so excited to see you go Ambassador 2.0, girl. So keep breaking records.
Bye, guys.
All right. Bye. See you guys later. Bye.